These two teams, they faced off in round 5 just a few weekends ago. That was the dress rehearsal. Hopefully they put on a show here today, and action underway. Mount Ridley with the first use of the football. Last time these two teams met was a 52 points to 4 win, going away of Hallam. Mount Ridley hoping to right their wrongs. A big inclusion for them today. The man with ball in hand, Hallam Oduasana, gets an early offload away. Russian Hallam defence coming out to meet them. Big man in the middle, adding some much needed stock to the forwards. An area in which Hallam well and truly got on the front foot across the 60 minutes last time out. An early shift and all of a sudden a bit of open pasture. Slips out of the attempted tackle of Wallace. Promising start for Mount Ridley in this Storm Cup semi-final. Take one more hit up before looking to get to their kick. Deacon King, Indy, Fioi, the two halves. Find themselves 30 metres out from the Hallam line. Picking up metres for ease in this opening set. First real test coming through. Ball hits the deck and it'll be a knock-on from Mount Ridley. Promising signs in the early exchanges, taking it to last year's grand finalists. Hallam looking to right their wrongs after falling oh so short to Vic Uni in the decider. Having shared the trophy with Grange in the season prior, they're looking to go all the way, collect the silverware themselves this season. Heavy contact up front. Kua coming out to meet him. Vaka. It might be Tuama wearing the number 8. Hammond puts it through the hands, looking to cut back on the inside. Austin Fleming, and he's dragged over the sideline. They played with fire down this short side. Came up empty-handed. Mount Ridley well and truly up for the contest inside this opening couple of minutes. They were almost immediately put on the back foot in that round 5 meeting. So far the signs are promising. Vaka, Varana, the tacklers there for Hallam. King shows it, opts to tuck it under the wing and take it himself into Hallam territory now. Quick play the ball. Chance for an attacking kick at the back end of this set, perhaps. Tiavo, King shows on the outside, steps off the right foot. Beatty not falling for the dummy. Wraps up his opposition half. Fifth and last now for Mount Ridley. Just under 5 minutes gone. King wrapping around, thought about the cutout pass, eventually fires it out the direction. Huakua gets the late offload. Second phase football, scrambling Hallam defence. Eventually the kick comes. Well positioned out the back and taken is Latrell Courts. Take it up for a 20-metre tap. Mount Ridley asking a few questions early of this Hallam defence. Hammond takes a scoot from dummy half, spots half a gap, well taken around the bootlaces. Lloyd Huakua, now Vaka. Steamrolls on the back of the quick play the ball. Varana, Beatty, wearing the number 7 today. Previously played in the 5/8 position so far in 2024. They go Beatty's way once again. Hammond holds up the pass, now cutting back through traffic. Thought about the offload, eventually pops it out the back. Samiili. And he'll be wrapped up, and now a chance for Hallam to find their first points. Now, Vaca straight through the middle. And after absorbing some early pressure from Mount Ridley, Hallam get their reward. Go from coast to coast, and with Alapata Vaca goes straight through the middle as he's done so many times already in 2024. Despite Mount Ridley's positive start to this semi-final, Hallam showing their class right there. Cashing in their first real opportunity, attacking the Mount Ridley line. They were set up to that right-hand side. But no one had eyes on a barnstorming Alapata Vaca. Both Alapata Vaca and Micah Varana spent time with the Melbourne Storm, training with them earlier this week. Both involved in the pathway system at the Storm. And some valuable experience amongst some of the NRL grade talent. As Hammond knocks over the conversion attempt from right in front. Hallam 6, Mount Ridley 0. Inside the opening 10 minutes. No surprise that some of their Melbourne Storm Harold Matthews players that have stood tall despite the early test from Mount Ridley, who asked a few questions. Just once again, once that Hallam forward pack get on a roll, just steamroll their way downfield. Very little the Mount Ridley defence could do. This was somewhat of a danger game for Hallam despite their strong form. It's been a busy schedule for some of their big players. 7 of the players that have featured this season having featured in the Australian Championships, the ASSRL champs, played at the MCG in the lead up to State of Origin Game 2, representing the combined affiliated states. Waka Hammond, Ezekiel Tatsili, Isaac Beatty, Alapata Vaca, the try scorer, and Micah Varana. All of those that played in that game. Backing up with club football and then playing again here today as the try scorer Vaca leaves a trail of destruction. No Jaden Matatamua, Safida Halat Tausili, and Phoenix Woods for them, however, for Hallam. So a slight change to their starting 13. Slowly working their way into this contest, and they find themselves with a handy 6-point buffer. Tuama still pumping the legs, 5th and last. Meters made for ease. Vaca, first receiver, shows it. Eyed off an early double, not to be for the front rower, and he's chopped down around the legs. And this time Mount Ridley do hold on. Take a chance to run through the lineups for both teams today. Fullback for Mount Ridley, Nathaniel Tiavo, Sean Machadi and Tanashi Chumanora on the wings. Abraham Levea, Grayson Auelia in the centres. Indy Fiui and Deacon King make up the halves. In the front row, Zarius Madaveo and Shalom Uwatasano. At hooker, Solomon Nario. And in the edge back row, Malachi Tapau, TJ Esra-Fau and Lloyd Huakua in the lock position. Tatum Maramapora, Tamati Fa'ali, Lampstad Moy and Avala Siatia make up the bench. As Levat cuts back, slips out of a couple of tackles, thought about the offload, had no support coming with him. Thought about offloading Chumanora. King runs towards Peronese. 5th and last for Mount Ridley. Uwatasane with the kicking duties. Sends it cross-field. It's not a bad one in the end from the front rower. He can hold on to his kicking license for a little bit longer, perhaps. Mount Ridley's good work, however, undone by a penalty there. Giving a piggyback for Hallam to get out of their own end. Hallam will start their set just shy of halfway. Beatty shows it to Vaca. Peronese. Hammond puts it through the hands. Now Memphis Wallace turns on the afterburners. Fleming in a dummy half. Hammond first receiver. Varana standing start. Links up with Vaca. Gets the bumpers out. Shows the dummy. Pops the ball around the corner. And sliding over, Jackton Samiili. Some lovely play there from Hallam, just bulldozing their way through the Mount Ridley defence. They started it down this right-hand side, quickly shifted left. And some nice work from Alapata Vaca. Their first try scorer gets the try assist and puts his edge-back rower through a gaping hole. And Hallam their second try for the morning. For Hallam at fullback with the goal-kicking duties is Waka Hammond. On the wings, Latrell Courts and Austin Fleming. In the centres, Walker Brown, Rapana Edwards, Memphis Wallace, Unatupola. In the halves, Cyrus Peronese and Isaac Beatty. In the front row pairing of Alapata Vaca and Tavita Tuama. Micah Varana normally finds himself in the forwards, playing hooker today. And on the edge-back row, the try scorer Jackton Samiili, Ezekiel Ta'usili, and LeBron Mayar in the lock position off the bench. Elijah Waitford, Ethan Cook, Winter Hukui, Kendrick Simeona, and CJ Busker-Molan as 18th man. Conversion successful from Hammond. 2 from 2 from the boots so far. If you're just joining us, both these teams went head-to-head in round 5. Right before the final series a few weeks ago. Hallam 52 points to 4 winners on that occasion. And so far it's been a strong start. Despite an improved performance from Mount Ridley, it must be said, a little bit of extra class and strike power at Hallam's disposal on full display so far in this first half. Head coach Shannon Billings said it was important for Hallam to control the ball, complete their sets. He earmarked that as a slight area of improvement for his side, and so far they've been just about perfect. Barely put a foot wrong. As Tuama hurdles his way over one would-be Mount Ridley defender. So silly, just shy of halfway. Hammond. Now. Going to go down this right-hand side. No, they're not. Let's go straight through to Vaca. Why not? Leaves Tiavo in his wake. Standing in the tackle. Varana whips it out left. Hammond slips the tackle. Chumanora did well to hold on around the boots. Fifth and last. Down the short side they go. Beatty. Well weighted. Grubber in behind. The chase is a good one from Hallam. They won the race, just couldn't put the ball down cleanly. Look, destined to grab their third try right there. Enough scramble from Mount Ridley, put enough pressure And they weren't able to ground the ball cleanly. Get out of jail free card for Mount Ridley right there. Utasone. Haven't seen much of him in the Storm Cup so far this year. No David Tuariki for them. Didn't get a chance to see those two side by side so far in 2024. TJ Esrafal gets him up to halfway. King for Ali. King, ball slips free. He's in two minds about whether to pin the ball under the wing or pop the offload around the corner. In the end, results in a loose carry. For Hallam, it's been a strong season. As I mentioned earlier, round one, they had a real test in a grand final rematch up against Vic Uni. It was a 20 points to 14 win for them to start their campaign. Had to do it the hard way with Walker Hammond sent in the sin bin for the final 10 minutes of the contest as Wallace goes straight through the middle and straight through the outside. Nothing but green lights. Memphis Wallace goes racing away, and in the blink of an eye, Hallam, they have yet another try added to their account. Just slipped through, straight out the other side. Some flimsy defence through the middle third of the field. And it's the right centre who gets himself on the try scorer's sheet. Should be another straightforward conversion attempt for the Isaac Beatty, lining up this attempt just to the left of the uprights. So after that win over Vic Uni, had a 22 points to 6 win, an 84-0 win over Manor Lakes. Enjoyed the bye in round 4 and then followed up with that 52 points to 4 win over Mount Ridley I mentioned earlier. 18 points to the name so far. Just the start to this first half that Shannon Billings will be after from his side. As I touched on, no Phoenix Woods, no Safida Halatoa Silly or Jaden Matatamua for them. So missing a few troops. Plenty of depth to come across and fill those positions.
It looks like this guy right here. It looks like this guy right here. That's the biggest cat.
King gets us back underway. Beatty happy to take a run. Receiving some applause from his head coach. The half not afraid to run the ball himself. Vaca, Varana, Hammond. Quick hands, wrapping around. So Silly. Now he puts the fend on. Gets the offload. Wallace. Brought down, but Mount Ridley still struggling to get back the 10 metres. Hallam on the front foot. Tuuma straightens. Still going, Tuuma, it's too easy. Helps himself. Went the most direct path to the try line possible. And some tired Mount Ridley defence couldn't hold the front rower out. So after 10 minutes, Hallam 22 points to 0. Kick to come. As Vaca and LeBron Mayer get a rest, along with the try scorer, Tuama. Solid opening shift from those three forwards. Beatty, you'd expect to knock this one over the black dot. That he does. More of a chip up on the fairway, being kind to the ball boys, not booting it over the fence and making them go collect. Be just what the doctor ordered for Hallam. 24 points to 0. Strong start to this first half. After a bright opening 7 minutes or so for Mount Ridley, fatigue starting to set in now. Hallam really starting to pose some problems in the middle third of the field. For Mount Ridley, they started their season with a 42 points to 18 loss to the Grange. I believe they were 18 all at half time in that game. They started brightly and fell away in the second half. They had the bye in round 2. 30 points to 18 loss to Vic Unis. They go short and King collects his own kickoff. A heads up play from the young half. Utasana takes 3. Hallam defenders can't bring him to ground. Standing in the tackle, towering over his opponents. It's a foul. What have Mount Ridley got with ball in hand? Utasana, second run in this carry. Second carry in this set, I should say. Gets them up just shy 10 metres out from the Hallam line. A penalty. Buskamolan appears to be the guilty party. Ezekiel Ta'asili. Utasane getting through plenty of work. Mount Ridley have done an awful lot of defending in the past 10 minutes or so. King drops it under. Taupau. Tapau. Plenty of Hallam defenders there to meet him as he straightens. Huakua goes down just shy. Can Mount Ridley find a way through? Held up over the line. Hallam defence holding strong so far. Utasane, King fires it out. Trying to get on the outside of Waka Brown, Rapana Edwards. Eventually the cavalry arrives to help out the young centre. Good strong first contact on his opposite number. King around the bootlaces. Rushing up was Buskamolan. Mount Ridley just losing their way in that set with ball in hand. Players catching the ball flat-footed. Ball hitting the deck. As King tried to, a nice little bit of polish, the back end of the set. So they'll have a redo. 6 minutes remain in this first half. They pack the scrum. King just getting his wires crossed with his forward right there. Long cutout pass to Manora. Straightens, goes straight through the other side. Wallace had to come and bring him to ground. Got away from Peronese. Levay. King. Once again flat-footed. It's almost like a game of touch football. Jinking and dancing with the stationary Hallam defensive line. Now they go for the crash play. Pokes his nose through. Malachi Taupa. He goes over and Mount Ridley get their reward with 5 minutes remaining in this first half. 24 points to 4, kick to come. They were knocking on the door. Slightly fortunate to get the ball back after the ball ricocheted off Deacon King's knee and touched the hand of CJ Buscamolan. Nonetheless, the fourth place Mount Ridley cashing in right there. There's the edge back row, Malachi Talpa. Deacon King to take this conversion attempt. An extra 2 points, all the more important given the fact that Hallam do lead by 4, or scored, I should say, the 4 converted tries. There's 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Nice bright spot and an early moment for Mount Ridley to try and take some momentum into the break, perhaps. They would love another try before the break to really give themselves a good shot of coming home strong in the second 30. King knocks over the extra 2 points. 24 points to 6. Here at Seabrook Reserve in the Storm Cup semi-final. The ladder leading Hallam taking on Mount Ridley. Vic Uni versus the Grange to follow. Kick off at 1 p.m. We were treated to an epic clash between those two teams in the regular season. So no doubt plenty of fireworks to follow. Charging onto it and bringing it back with some venom. Still pumping the legs. Mount Ridley just up in the intensity to finish this first half, but they come up with the error. Oscar Molan comes out the other side with the football. What a gift for Hallam. Beatty weaving. Heavy contact, ran to the shoulder there of TJ Esserafau. Varana. Waitford, he's out there now for Hallam. Nice shape. Hammond shows it up, throws the dummy. Offload round the corner. Peronese slips. Eventually succumbs to the tackle. Varana shows it left, goes right. Wallace, footwork close to the line. Chumanora and co holding him up. Hallam will look to head back towards the post. Straightening. Simeona going laterally, still fighting in the tackle, trying to stay on his feet, eventually brought to ground. One last roll of the dice here for Hallam. Beatty throws the dummy, straightens. Fifth and last. Hallam knocking on the door. Varana loops it out. Couldn't reel it in as Waka Brown Rapana Edwards put the ball to boot. Believably not played at by the Mount Ridley defence. And some positive signs before the break. The defence holding strong. Could ill afford to go down another try. I have to say, would leave them too much work to do in the second 30. As we approach the final minute of this first half. Sonic runs towards his Harold Matthews teammates. Varana. Wallace involved in back-to-back tackles for Hallam. King had to wait for the ball. TJ Esserafau driven backwards. Almost a one-on-one steal, and he's still going at it. Esserafau locked in a little battle with Jackton Samiili. Two respective try scorers for their teams, the edge-back rowers. King, lovely cut-out pass. Tries for Ford, no call coming. Tatum Ramapora, choosing number 14 out on that right wing. King had to pick it up around the ankles. Did well to get the ball to boot. Now Hammond, always dangerous on the kick return. Weaves through traffic. Waka Hammond, right before the break, he pins the ears back. It's another special try from the Hallam fullback. He makes it look so easy. Scooped up the football and left the whole of the Mount Ridley team in his wake. Special player wearing the number 1 for Hallam Secondary College. And what a gift that is for Hallam right before the break. 28 points to 6, kick to come. And all of Mount Ridley's good work undone in the final seconds right there. The alarm bells were certainly ringing for the Mount Ridley defence. Just lost their way at the back end of their set. King was forced into rushing through his kick. And the scattered defensive line is all Waka Hammond needed to pin the ears back and race away under the posts. In comes Beatty, knocks over the extra 2 points. Once again, 3 from 3 from the boot. Waka Hammond, 2 conversions to his name as well. And there it is, half-time of this Storm Cup semi-final. Hallam leading 30 points to 6 over Mount Ridley. We'll take a short break and be back with all the second half action. Welcome back in, second half action of this Storm Cup semi-final. Hallam with first use of the football in the second 30. It was a bright start to the first half for Mount Ridley, but they were worn down by this relentless Hallam outfit. They picked up a late try before the break through fullback Waka Hammond. Find themselves with a comfy 30 points to 6 lead. Beatty straightens. One of the most pleasing elements of Hallam's first half is their ball control, completing at an extremely high rate. As the ball left behind, some nervous moments, still not dealt with, and eventually ground in the in-goal area. Tatum Maramapora slightly nervous as he tried to deal with that football. The likes of Waka Brown, Rapana Edwards and co swarming in and around the football, hoping to pounce. Nonetheless, Hallam, they force a line dropout. Kingy went short off the kickoff and collected his own kick in the first half. They'll try and go short again. It's a wobbly old one. Might almost work out in the end, and it comes up with the error. Sat up there for Hallam, couldn't handle it. Made a few changes before the break. Plenty of strike power sitting on the bench. Touched on in the first half. A number of their players have had a busy schedule over the past week or so. Well, it might have been a few weeks since their round 5 encounter against Mount Ridley. The likes of Waka Hammond, Ezekiel Tarsili, Isaac Beatty, Alpadavaka, Micah Varana, all playing for the combined affiliated states. There's the curtain raiser for the State of Origin game at the MCG a few weeks ago, then backing it up with club football. And here once again on Thursday, suiting up for their school as they try and book their spot in the Storm Cup final as the ball's put down. Error there from Maramapora. Moment to forget for the young winger, just coughing up the football. Hallam will now pack the scrum just over 30 metres out from the Mount Ridley line. Both teams were expecting some wet weather football. It's expected to rain up in Broadmeadows. So far been sunny conditions for both teams. A bit of cloud coverage beginning to come over. Whether or not the weather will play a part in the game to follow this is a kick put in for Waka Hammond. Open air in front of him. And he wins the race to the football. Straight from the training paddock and executed to perfection. Both players on the same wavelength. Not a Mount Ridley player in sight, and Waka Hammond grabs his second try for the afternoon. Two conversions, 2 tries for Waka Hammond. Will be Beatty to continue with the goal kicking duties. After 5 minutes, much like they did in the first half, Hallam find a way through. Beatty waved away. So after going 5 from 5 from the goal kicking tee, not to be on that occasion for the young half. Finds himself at half-back today, having previously played primarily in the 5/8 position. A few of these Hallam players are playing out of position, filling holes. Mike Varana suiting up at hooker after normally playing in the forwards. No Ryder Sparrow for them, who's featured both on the wing and in the second row. So far, those that have stepped up into the roles have done their job well. 28-point lead with plenty of football to be played. Beatty takes it on the chest. Busker-Molan breaks one tackle. Good legs tackle there from the young winger. Chimanora bringing the big man to ground. Varana, Hammond first receiver. Drifting, turning on the speed once again. Waka Hammond with ease. He goes over and seals his hat-trick. Give him half a chance and he'll take full responsibility. Pin the ball under his arm. And set his sights for the try line. You can't coach speed, and Waka Hammond has it in spades. 38 points to 6. Danger period here for Mount Ridley. Need to try and find a response. Because once this Hallam outfit get going, they're almost a movable force to stop as Hammond make his way to the sideline. Yet to be seen whether we'll see him feature again in this second half. Some of the fresher legs get their opportunity. Not a bad 40 minutes from the young fullback. 3 tries, 2 conversions to his name. Earns himself a well-deserved rest as Mike Varana, with his first attempt with the goal-kicking boots, knocks it over. Shannon Billings said that while they weren't willing to rest any players, particularly heading into today's game, given the threat that Mount Ridley have shown so far in 2024, despite the games that they have gone down in defeat, they've been valiant in their efforts. Perhaps just fading away in the latter stages of the contest. They've shown that they've got plenty of spirit and plenty of fight. We saw that in the opening 10 minutes. They really took it to this Hallam side. Had some great opportunities. They've scored a try of their own through Malachi Talpa. John Billings said if in a commanding position, perhaps Hallam would look to give some of their star players a rest, keep them fresh for next week's grand final. Well and truly have their eyes on the prize, looking to go all the way this season. Oh, so close last year, sharing the trophy in 2022. They want that Storm Cup all to themselves. As the error comes up there from edge-back row Ezekiel Ta'asili. Ridley on the back of the scrum. Done an awful lot of defending in the past 10 minutes or so since the second half got underway. King. Utasone. King shows it. Matt Ridley creeping into Hallam territory. Utasone getting through plenty of work. Talpa, their sole try scorer, fifth and last. King, grubber in behind, too strong off the boot. Maybe a 20-metre tap coming up for Hallam. Just going down the short side, putting a little bit too much purchase on that kick from King. He's come up with a few good ones already in this contest. I'd love to have that one again. Wallace bent backwards in the tackle. Landed awkwardly. Young Melbourne Storm, Harold Matthews product. We're just grabbing at an ankle, which was caught under the tackle there of Utasone. Wallace, he grabbed a try in the first half with a nice solo effort. Looked for a customary hit up through the middle and poked his nose through the other side and raced away. Despite the break in play, there will only be time off in the final 5 minutes of the contest. Time off awarded after the try is scored at the discretion of the referee, and then time off mandatory after the conversion, but only in the final couple of minutes of the contest. Of course, as we get to the pointy end of the competition this year, in the close games, those final 5 minutes could be crucial. We've seen some ripping contests already this year. While Hallam well and truly in the driver's seat in this first semi-final. Still plenty of exciting Storm Cup action coming your way. Grange taking on last year's premiers Vic Uni. They played out one of the games of the season. Last time out in round 4. Set to be treated to another cracker. Grange coming off an enormous win, putting on over 70 points on Manor Lakes in the final game of the season before coming into finals with plenty of confidence. Samili, Bascomolan goes again the second time of asking. Deacon King throwing his weight at the front rower. Varana Little kick in behind, chasing forward. Waitford. Did he put it down? He bobbled it. He might be a fibber. He was claiming it. Didn't look to have control of the football as King throws the dummy. Almost used Fleming as a hurdle. Chopped down and 2 tackles gone. 35 metres out from their own line. It was a well-weighted kick from Micah Varana. Harold Matthews' teammate Elijah Waitford was pouring through. Just couldn't apply the finish. Strong shot through the middle. Hallam beginning to muscle up in defence. Fifth and last. Matt Ridley go left. King sends it high up into the sky. Testing out the fullback coming through, receives some contact after collecting the football. Levea going up for it. And now Fleming picks up a few post-contact metres. Looking for a quick play of the ball. Matt Ridley fortunate not to be penalised there. We're not letting Austin Fleming get to his feet, and then Hallam cough up the pill. Trumanora, it's a wobbly old pass. Udasone, standing start. Winds up the towering timber through the middle third of the field for Mount Ridley. So we're reached the halfway point of this second half. King. Taupau. Causing a few headaches down this right-hand side. King. Seen a lot of the football, all of their creative spark going through him. Puts it through, now running through a beautiful hole. Well, Suolami Fa'alongo, eat your heart out because the swan dive is in. And how about the finish from Lloyd Huakua? Went diving over, it was a beautiful line. Deacon King putting it on a platter. Slicing through the Hallam defence. Would love to see an action replay of the airtime he got. Big man found himself out on that left edge. Wearing the number 13, playing in that edge position. Once again, Deacon King, he didn't have a whole lot of options in front of him, but managed to weave his magic and make something work for Mount Ridley. Get their first points of the second half.
Very good. Elijah Waitford.
Well, King, he sent the kicking tee further than the football almost. Conversion unsuccessful. Little wry smile over to his schoolmates. I'm sure we'll be hearing about that on the bus ride home. 40 points to 10, just over 10 minutes remaining in this first semi-final of our doubleheader here at Seabrook Reserve. Broadmeadows has been the home to the Storm Cup in 2024. All the games bar one played right here. Seabrook Reserve, the new facility, the home for rugby league in Victoria. Seen some great events hosted by NRL Victoria, played here at the ground with their very own specific facility built for them. Storm Pathways, training out here in the Broadmeadows, creating a hub, a place to call home for their players. Several of Hallam's Harold Matthews representatives having taken to the field here wearing the Storm jersey earlier this year. 9-round season, plenty of experience and valuable insight having been involved with those programs. Just given the sheer quality of the competition this year in the Storm Cup. The lessons they're taking away is flowing down into school rugby league here in Victoria. I have to say, stronger than ever in 2024. Towering kick there from King. Well taken at the back there by Courts. Finds himself in the full-back position. Wackerhammond getting a rest. Memphis Wallace, fortunately, seems to be okay from that potential ankle injury. Just stayed down for a few minutes ago. Now Waitford providing some spark off the bench, wearing the number 14. Almost took Esra Fowl for a ride. The edge-back rower hanging on desperately. Vaca back on the field, shows it. Gets the offload back. Vaca off the left foot. What can't he do? He races away. He had the ball playing, got the ball back off the late offload, stepped off the left foot, left the fullback for dead, and goes over for his second try. He opened their account today, and he cashes in barely seconds after stepping back onto the paddock. Kavarina. Second successful conversion attempt. So Mount Ridley, they look destined to bow out in 2024. Always going to be a tough test today up against the undefeated Hallam. Have had some bright moments across the 52 minutes played so far. They started the contest extremely brightly. So wobbly old kick-off, Waitford trying to keep in the field of play and somehow manages to stay in before being bundled into touch. Another element what makes their performance so well, given that they've only got 2 or 3 players on the bench. Whereas, look to the right of your screens, Hallam with a full complement at their disposal. Fatigue always going to be an issue for Mount Ridley, having been worked over through the middle third of the field. Some more points on offer here for Hallam. Vaca goes the flat pass, too hard to handle for Ezekiel Ta'asili. Immediately put a shift on. That time Vaca just with the heavy hand. Always made it tough for his edge back row to handle that close to the line. Plenty of Storm players, both past and present, involved with these two teams. Spencer Browner, Storm jersey flag player for them this season, helping out with the coaching staff at Mount Ridley, while Hallam have had the likes of Nate Miles helping out in their program. Of course, was involved with the Queensland Maroons in last night's decider. So plenty of great people involved in these rugby league programs down here in Victoria. These academy schools putting the framework in place for future success. King gets to the sky once more. Courts takes it on the chest. Thought about the pass. Walker Brown, Rapana Edwards thought better of it. Now Memphis, Wallace, Mutapola. Waitford charging on. Fancy footwork close to the line. Bounce out of one tackle. Make that two. Still going. And eventually brought down an important tackle around the legs and draws the penalty. That's what he can do, Elijah Waitford. Inject that speed and enthusiasm close to the line. Some tiring forwards for Mount Ridley. It's a difficult proposition when he's running at you with a full head of steam. Waitford, Beatty, Vaca ran behind his player. Tatasili and Vaca getting their wires crossed once again. Might be working on that combination on the training paddock in the days to come ahead of next week's grand final. Tatasili, of course, coming up the error a few minutes ago, and then that time Vaca just running behind his edge back rower. So far, Vaca is showcased some ball playing abilities, a left foot step. If this was his audition to a move into the halves, become the world's biggest halfback, might have taken just a little hit to his resume right there. Coming up those two errors. Let's go inside the final 5 minutes. Hallam in the box seat. Will truly have signed their RSVP to next week's grand final. And that will be their third straight Storm Cup grand final. King. Thought about the offload, eventually brought to ground. Always a handful. Wutasane in a dummy half. What can King conjure up with this kick? They opt to go through the hands this time. Cries for a knock-on. Play allowed to continue. Slips out of the tackle there of Waitford. Chance now gets past one more defender. Chumanora goes for the try line. Hallam will do well to hold him up, and they do just that. Despite boasting 36-point lead, demonstrating that goal line defence that proved oh so valuable all the way back in round one in that tight victory over the reigning premiers Vic Uni. Practice what you preach, even not in the big moments. Pleasing signs there for Janan Billings. His side scrambling to deny Chumanora down this right edge. Now they bring it back the other way. Peronese gets them up to halfway. Looking to finish this game with a bang. Vaca. Seems on the football. Offload. Courts. Tries the chip and chase. Why not? Toes it ahead. It'll be too heavy. Bit of Champagne Rugby League as we head towards the final 2 and a bit minutes.
I'm just saying, I said 46 mil. 46 mil.
Matt Ridley continued to persist going down this right edge. Talpa, he's been strong for them. Proved a real handful on this right edge. King momentarily running behind his player. Play allowed to continue. Thought about the offload, held the call. King in a dummy half. Little kick in behind. Almost picked it up. Came in charging towards Courts, who scooped up the football. Courts hesitated slightly before securing the goods, and King almost won the race of the football out of nothing. That was the play of a player that has left it all out there, Deacon King. He's been a busy boy, popping up right across the park for Mount Ridley. Every single bit of their attack has gone through him. This looks to be a young man that's run out of ideas, to be perfectly honest. There's now one last chance for Hallam. Fifth and last. Final 10 seconds. Beatty. Grubber in behind. Waitford sets chase and batted out of play. Not taking any chances was Marama Pora. We won't have time for a restart, and that'll be all she wrote in the first semi-final this Storm Cup doubleheader here at Seabrook Reserve. This Storm Cup juggernaut, Hallam, continue to roll on. They flex their muscles, a 46 points to 10 win over Mount Ridley.